What do all these solos have in common? Well, they're widely considered to be among the most melodic and memorable in music history. But why? If you answered chord tones, you're right. But more specifically, they make use of triads. Triads are the bones of the chord. I like to put it this way. Remember when you were a kid and you were playing lava in the living room? The floor was lava and the furniture were the rocks, and you had to jump from rock to rock to keep from falling into the lava, right? Well, the notes of the triad are the rocks. So what are they made of? They're the first, third, and fifth degrees of the scale. Play a scale from 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then try skipping every other one. 1, 3, 5. That's a triad, the most important information in a chord. The first determines the key center, or the root of the chord. The third determines its tonality, major or minor. In broad terms, happy or sad. And the fifth wants to resolve back to the one. Because a triad is composed of the strongest intervals, they're the heart of many memorable melodies. Here are a couple of examples. Sound familiar? This is generally what people mean when they say a solo is melodic or label someone a melodic player. So why is this essential? Because melody is story. People like stories. If you stand up in front of an audience and recite the alphabet, they're just going to walk away. As a soloist, you're a storyteller first and foremost. Triads lend your story confident, strong connection to the underlying structure of the music, the chords. So where do we find them? In part 1, we learned that if you know your basic open position major and minor chords, aka the cowboy chords, the basic triad shapes are already right there under your fingers. And we learned how to move them freely up and down the neck with inversions, covering the fingerboard horizontally in 4 sets of 3 strings. If you haven't watched it, I suggest you do. There's a link in the description below. Today, we're going to practice them vertically in one position. First, let's play a G major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Now we're going to build a triad from the root, the third, and the fifth degrees of the scale. Here we go. Root, third, fifth. Root again, third again, fifth. These are called inversions, and now you know every single inversion available in this position for this chord. So now we're going to build a triad from each note of the scale. From the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 again, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. By starting the triad from each of the notes of the major scale in order, 1 to 7, you've also covered a minor shape, and even a diminished shape. Because of the way a major scale is constructed, each degree of the major scale has a chord. Starting from the root, you get major. The second and third generate minor shapes. The fourth make major shapes. The sixth makes minor, and the seventh makes diminished. Moving on, 1 major, 2 minor, 3 minor, 4 major, 5 major, etc. This may sound complicated, but just look at it like it's a bargain. You've just committed the shapes of each basic triad to memory with one exercise. It's like a 3-for-1 sale. Congratulations, you're the lucky winner. If you want to go further, see the full lesson on my Patreon where I take this exercise up through the neck in every cage position with tabs. You'll find the link below. So the next level of this video game is applying this to chord changes. To do this, you have to reference the triad notes of each chord as they go by. This is easier than it sounds because there are a lot of common tones in most chord progressions. It's like they're in the same family and share a lot of the same DNA. So sometimes you can just hang out on one note through 2 or 3 chords and it'll sound okay, depending on the context. But you better know where that next rock is so you don't fall into the lava. And if you don't move, there's no story and you risk boring the listener. So where is the next rock? If you know all the triads of each chord of the progression in every position, they're right there under your fingers. If you know the chord changes, you can kind of play hopscotch between them using mostly triad shapes. In the scale position we practiced above, here's every G triad, the 1 chord. Here's C, the 4 chord. Now D, the 5 chord. These are also known as inversions, and you've just played through every one of them available in this position for each of the 3 chords. So now I'm going to improvise through this simple 1-4-5 progression using the triads of each chord in one position, starting on the low strings and working my way up to the higher ones. Here goes. So now I'm going to hang my hideout further over the edge with a more complicated chord progression. It's going to have some minors in it. It's going to start with an F minor, B flat minor, E flat major, A flat major, D flat major, and B flat minor again, and then C. Let's see what happens. You can see that by adding scale runs and utilizing some of the other chord tones, I created some motifs and made it a little more interesting. These are more advanced strategies, and I'll cover them thoroughly in the 3rd video of this 3-part series. Please subscribe to be notified and join my Patreon for in-depth, full lessons with tablature, or hit me up for private lessons. Links are in the description. Peace!